The following presentation is brought to you by the Pride of ODU, the official NIL collective of Old Dominion Athletics. Be a monarchist. Join the Pride.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Mike.
And you're listening to the Monarchists podcast. We're stoked to have Hall of Famer Trey Freeman on the show. But let's face it, Trey, you don't need an introduction to Monarch Nation, so let's not waste any more time. Welcome to the best and only ODU podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be on.
Well, Trey, this is a big moment for me, and I'm sure Aaron. One of my favorite players to watch in my history watching Old Dominion sports. Your mid-range game is second to none. Just a pleasure watching you, and the memories you gave us we'll never forget. So thank you for being such an awesome Monarch.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so we're going to start at the beginning. Could you tell us a little bit about your experiences that kind of prepared you for Old Dominion and becoming that mid-range superstar?
Yeah, so I'm from Virginia Beach. I went to Kellum. I've always I wasn't like a great, I wasn't like a highly recruited person or anything like that. I was just a gym rat. And I love basketball. So I would watch basketball. And when I was growing up, that was the shot. Like you watch AI, mid-range, T-Mac, Michael Jordan, Kobe, all these guys I watched. And I had big brothers and we used to just do these drills, elbow to elbow, make 25 in a row. Or like, we would just do all these different drills. And I had a lot of people that helped me or taught me along the way. I took a lot from a lot of different coaches and trainers and just older guys at the rec centers. And I think the only difference between me and a lot of other people was I applied everything I learned and I tried to steal as much as I could from anybody that was good. So anything that I could actually do or, for the betterment of my ability, I was a student and I would just work on it consistently. There was a lot of times I'll be at the rec center and, guys would be playing and I would just be like, no, I can't play. I got to make 100 mid-ranges, 50 left, 50 right, 3 different spots. And then, add a step back. And, I would just try to model my game behind guys that I felt like I could emulate. So like Sam Cassell's and, mid-range guys, Chauncey Billups, and, just try to be smart because I wasn't as athletic as a lot of these guys that played at the Division I level, but I try to use my brain and, just be a student of the game. And, like for me, like coming to ODU, like I was just trying to, I don't know, I played at Kellum and, when I was at Kellum, it was really hard to make it out of Kellum. It was very, very hard to like go to college. And, my brother always, taught me about leadership and trying to, get the most out of my teammates. And we would watch, Kobe and Jordan and how did they lead versus other people, Chris Paul. So I really just tried to foster like a winning attitude wherever I went. And, I really wasn't concerned with being best friends with people. I was just really trying to win, really, to be honest.
All right. So in those, getting started, we know that family is really important to you.
Yeah.
And the video put out for your Hall of Fame induction, you talked about that and you teared up talking about your parents, your brother, your sister, and what they mean to you. How did family and starting out like kind of lead you on the path to getting, started in basketball and then kind of where you're going now?
Yeah. So my mom and dad are from Louisiana, and they always say like when my mom was pregnant, they were playing like a pickup game, my brothers versus my mom and dad. And my dad had me in every sport though. Like my first sport I played was baseball. Like we would play catch every day, and then we play football. I'd be running routes, and basketball we would play. And I just have like a great family, man. Like, and I didn't know anything else. You know what I mean? I had a great dad. My dad passed away in 2020, but I had a great dad that was always there. He always showed up for me. And, I had a great mom. Like they were at every game. So even when I was at Campbell, they would, drive down. My brothers and my parents would drive down and come to like as many games as they could, home games. We played anywhere near around. We played in Marshall. I have, my dad was number 5 out of 9. So I have like a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins. So I was always hitting up Coach Donahue about that ticket list. So we were anywhere near Louisiana, I'll probably have 15, 20 people show
And
up.
it's a good thing you had him because he's really good at
Oh,
coordinating and logistics. Anybody else, you might have been in trouble.
yeah, man. So I would, I have, my dad's side, my dad said he had 127 first cousins. So it was like I have a lot of family everywhere, but my immediate family as well, man, I just had great support. And like the main thing for my family was my dad didn't think I was going to be any good at basketball. He wanted me to be an architect. That's what he was. So it was like my mom was a principal. So a lot of it was like, man, every dude wants to play in the NBA, man. You better make sure your grades are right. And so it took a while to make my dad a believer. I think my mom, moms believe in you all the time, but he was just kind of more so like, want to make sure I'm good in life. So I had good parents, and they made the important things were the important things, like being respectful, showing up, doing what you say you're gonna do, those things. And then basketball is just extras for at my house at least. So I mean, I just had a great family that would do anything for me.
That's awesome. So obviously that family, you guys settled in Virginia Beach. You go to Kellum, and you say it's hard to get out of Kellum, but you lead them to a 27-0 record, 20 points per game.
Yeah.
Looking back, what's your biggest memory of that high school experience at Kellum?
Like I don't know, I like playing at Kellum. I had a great high school coach, a lot of people that helped me. But man, it was so tough because it was like when we started, we were 2-20, and then we left 27-1. We lost to Dorian Finney-Smith's team in the regionals. So now, I'm coaching high school now. You only have to win 2 games to go to states. Back when we were 27-0 and didn't go to states. So it's like we were number 1 in the state or whatever. But it was so hard because I was doing all of this, but like we were ranked, all this stuff, but I only had one offer coming out of high school. So I didn't have any school in Virginia. None of them looked at me, So it was like Kellum was a good school, but it wasn't a basketball school. The beach wasn't a basketball city. So it was like, I always had a chip on my shoulder to prove people wrong and to really, show up for the people that helped me and I just try to make everybody proud that ever encountered me. So that's why I always played with that edge. And then like if I ever played a team in Virginia, I tried to kill them, like literally. Like, I was at Campbell, we would play Radford and VMI and all these schools. None of these schools looked at me. So it kind of made me mad. Even ODU, like I wanted to go to ODU out of high school, but I didn't get a look. So it was just like I felt kind of bad, but everything happens for a reason. And I think I don't know. I don't know that it should have happened any other way because it kept me hungry, But I think that was one thing. It was like my oldest brother was like, man, you have to average this, and you can't lose if you're trying to go to play college basketball. So I tried my best, and we got the college basketball. That was the main goal. But it was hard, man. It was really, really difficult.
All right. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because you went there.
Yeah,
Um, there's a lot of Old Dominion fans that wish that you did start out at ODU and we're there for all 4 years, for sure.
yeah,
Um, now in the past, you've talked about coming to Old Dominion games as a kid and looking up to guys like Frank Cassell, Kent Bazemore, Ben Finney, Gerald Lee, Darius James, all guys from 757. I think you just said that you kind of, you know, I I don't want to put words in your mouth about like dreaming to play at Old Dominion, um, but obviously you went to Campbell, you got that offer, you went and you freaking killed it. You're the Big South Freshman of the Year in 2012. Talk
yeah.
about going to Campbell. So you got your offer going to Campbell, what you learned there, and then ultimately ending up at Old Dominion.
Yeah. So Campbell Yeah, so when I was growing up, yeah, my high school coach Hassel, he brought us to like a game every year. And the JV varsity, we would catch the bus. We would watch. I remember one time we went and saw George Mason. I feel like it was when Frank and them were there. But I mean, you gotta think, when I was in high school, it was like mid-major madness in Virginia. It wasn't just ODU. I mean, obviously I wanted to go to ODU because ODU was, to be honest, was kicking everybody's butt. Like it wasn't even close. Like, you know what I mean? I know VCU had the run, but I mean, I think ODU beat them 2, 3 times that year. Like it was nothing.
Oh yeah.
3, right? Yeah, but it was like they were good. VCU was good, Mason was good, but we had all these good mid-major teams in Virginia. So like for me, I'm like, man, I mean, if you're gonna play mid-major, why do I have to leave the state to do this? Like this is like the best state. And then like going to the home games. I mean, y'all know when that Ted is rocking.
Those
I
games
mean,
were freaking crazy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I would even when I was there, we would sell it out. I mean, I think we had like the record or whatever in the nation, how many wins we had, and we were selling out games. Like every Saturday game was sold out when we were ranked that year. But I mean, when I was there as a kid though, it was crazy. I don't know. I can't. It's weird to compare like the eras because when you're in it, you don't even recognize it as much as like when I was a fan. It was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this. Like Kent and Ben like playing in the passing lanes, getting dunks and transitions. They had like great bigs. They had just had like this team, and then they would make noise in the tournament. So it was a different beast, man. So what I learned from going to Campbell is like I felt I felt isolated from everything I loved and knew. I felt, and it's only 4 hours away, but it felt I'm such a family guy. I felt so isolated, but it felt like I could really hone in on what I was trying to do basketball wise. And I learned a lot from a lot of great coaches in the sense like when you go that jump from high school to college, there's a learning curve. So many things like terminology, the effort it takes to try to win. And it wasn't like I went in and learned behind anybody at like a high clip. It wasn't like I had like a savvy senior point guard or it wasn't they threw me in the fire. So when I was at Kellum, I was thrown in the fire and Campbell, I was just thrown in the fire. But everything I learned at Kellum prepared me for Campbell. Like my confidence was, I felt like I was the best guard in the state when I was at Kellum. So, and I played all summer with like Stanley Pringles and John Gilchrist and Austin Keenan at VMI and BJ Jenkins at Murray State. All these guys from my city. I played with them all summer, Denzel Bowles and all these pros. So when I got to college, I was like, I'm not really worried because I play with pros. So it made me that transition I wasn't fearful. I just was like, man, I really have to prove that I feel like I'm better than most of these guys, or I feel like I can go to the league. So when I got to Campbell, that was just my mindset. It was like, man, I don't really care that I'm a freshman. I don't care what year. If we're dressed up the same, man, I need to take it to whoever we're playing against. And the good thing about Campbell was our conference, man. I got to play against some of the biggest schools in the country because like the smaller schools, they really just go play. Like I went to play in Gonzaga. I think I scored like 19 or 20 on them as a freshman. NC State, I gave them 19 or 20. Virginia Tech, 19 or 20. Like it was just like, but I had no fear. And the one thing I noticed about myself was I felt like I always showed up in big games, or I never like cowered down in big moments or big games, like because that was always my responsibility from Kellum. Like I knew when I went in, this is the type of game it's gonna be. It's gonna be rough, but you got to shoulder that responsibility, and that really set me up for like the situation I had at ODU because I've never been on a team where prior to ODU, I've never been on a team where they drove a play for me. So it was like everything I did at Campbell was just like one on one or, figure it out. But when I got to ODU, it was a little different because they were like, oh, we want you to shoot here. You have this play. Like they knew how to like make me better, I guess, if that makes sense. And before that, like Campbell was just like, oh, I'll give you the ball. Go ahead, do what you got to do. So it was like, it shouldered the responsibility trying to lead older men too, like Campbell, like coming in as a freshman and just having to lead right away. Like my coach was like, well, why are you waiting? You need to be a leader, like speak up. So they challenged me because I wasn't really vocal at that time. So it really challenged me. in my basketball career.
All right. So you go to Campbell and you decide to transfer. Talk to us about that decision and how you ended up at Old Dominion.
Yeah, so my mom was sick. My mom had osteomyelitis. She had so I went home one day for spring break. She had like tubes and like a nurse at home, like tubes in her and stuff. So I was like, what the heck? My brothers didn't tell me anything that was going on. My coach had got fired at Campbell. So I was like in this weird, do I go or do I stay? Now I could stay and be the big man on campus and just kind of be like safe, I guess, if that makes sense. Like I had 2 good years. I probably scored over 1,000 or close to 1,000 in the 2 years, or maybe a little bit below. But I had a good 2 years. Like my last year, I played on a broken bone in my foot the whole year. Like they would just shoot me up before the games. So I had a rough last year, but I still was second team or whatever. But I wasn't healthy and I was just playing and my mom was sick and all this stuff. And then when I was thinking about it, I talked to my coaches. I had Coach Jermaine Woods. I don't know. You remember Coach Woods? He was on the girls staff with Coach Barefoot. He's head coach at Coppin State. He was my AU coach for Boo. That's a whole nother story. Boo Williams that was awesome. That opportunity for me. I'll tell you all about that later. And then when I got home, I was just like, oh, I don't know. I talked to my brothers. I prayed on it. It was like the hardest decision, man. I'm bad at making decisions. Like I was sick in my stomach. Like the new
You
coach
made
was
the right one though.
Yeah, I did, but I was scared. But I remember I was talking to my dad because I'm very indecisive. And I was like, yo, Dad, what do you think? Like he was just like, oh, there's no wrong decision, man. You just gotta make one. Like that was his answer. And he put the onus on me. But I remember I made the decision to come home. But like it was like, ODU was like where I wanted to go coming out, but when I was deciding to come back, they were 5-25. They weren't they weren't the ODU with they weren't the Ben Finney ODU. They weren't the Darius James ODU.
Trust us.
Yeah.
We know, we were there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't that. It was like they were debatably, I don't know, maybe one of the worst win percentages in the country at the time. And it was like I was like, I don't know. And then, when I'm leaving Campbell, I'm getting hit up by UVA. I'm getting hit up by Creighton. I'm getting hit up by bigger schools. And now, I come from, 2 years prior, nobody wanted me. Now, some of the bigger schools in the state want me. I'm getting hit up from, different people or whatever. And I'm having these opportunities. But one of my teammates from high school was already committed. His name was Ramon Snowden. Ramon was like that dude, like he was really good, like at a younger age. And he had committed to Coach Taylor and he was supposed to come in and all this stuff. And coach change happened and they were in talks with my high school coach. But it was the transfer portal was really shaky back then. Like there was a lot of illegal stuff that could have happened. Nothing, but Coach Jones wouldn't talk to my high school coach because you couldn't really talk back then. I had to declare that I was transferring, then I could talk. So there was a lot of like leaping out on faith. It was like, oh, I don't know. You really don't know who wants you until you say that you're transferring. And so when I did it, then I went into ODU. I talked to Coach Jones, Coach Richardson, Coach Stith, and Coach Barrett and Coach Donahue. I went and met them. It wasn't like I knew them prior. And we went in there and I brought my whole family came, my brothers and my mom and my dad, and we talked and and Coach Rich like pressured me. He was like, what you gonna do? Like you gonna commit right now? The man wants to know. Like he was like being that guy. And I was like, I already knew I wanted to be close to home because of my mom. And I don't know, like I wasn't afraid to put in the work to change the culture because that's all I've ever done. Like I did that at Kellum, I did that at Campbell, and I was going to do it at ODU. So I'm not afraid to work. That was never a fear of mine. But I don't know. I leaped out on faith and I just tried to be me and I tried to drag or like influence guys to come to the gym. I just played all day. Like I tried to just lead by example. I really wasn't trying to do anything. I was just being me. And we had guys that wanted to work anyway. So it wasn't like the culture was crazy. I mean, Coach Jones comes in, sets the culture, and I just follow. So it wasn't, I don't know. It just worked out really, really well. I mean, I don't think you could have anticipated it being that well. So yeah.
So it's interesting that you say that and talk about Coach Jones setting the culture. Um, I saw, I was watching another interview that you had, and you made a statement that really hit me. It said, rules, guidance, and expectations. Like Coach Jones and the staff had set
Yeah.
rules, guidance, and expectations, and it seemed to make an impact on you.
Yeah.
You talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Like I looked at, I was never like, I'm not really rebellious. I'm not really, that's not my personality, right? But when you go to like, when it's college basketball, everybody has different backgrounds. The only thing in common is we love basketball. So we have guys from rougher situations. We have guys from nice. I mean, I went to Kellum. I grew up in Lagamar. It's really nice where I grew up. You know, I'm like 10 minutes from Sandbridge. We have different upbringings. We have guys from out of the country, in the country, inner city, regular, down south, up north. And when you come and bring a team together, our experiences are different. Our styles of play, how we, whatever. But the way that the coaches were able to hold everybody accountable and just like set it, I didn't ever play anywhere where the culture was set like that, if that makes sense. Because in high school, you know, I grew up with these guys. You know, we went to middle school together. I've known them my whole life or whatever. You know, we live in the same neighborhoods. That's one thing. College is like, you know, Ambrose is from Florida, Denzel Taylor's from Toronto, Brampton. Aaron, Jordan, and me are from the 757, but they're from Hampton. You know what I mean? Richard Ross is from Texas. John Arledge is from DC, Maryland, Silver Spring. It's like we're pulling people from all over the world. And it's like, you know, then you got to think about their style of plays, right? Ambrose is used to pressing and shooting threes. Like, you know, me, I'm more like ISO ball. Aaron Baycoat's more ISO ball. Jordan's defensive guy. So it's like you're bringing in all these different people, personalities. Different guys are more will check the coaches a little bit differently. I'll check stuff if I don't really check stuff. I just go hard, right? And I might say something if it rubs in my spirit that way. But generally speaking, like to deal with all these young men, you know, from 18 to 22, and then like I don't know what was going on before we got there because I wasn't at ODU, but I know what was going on at Campbell. And you know what I mean? So it's like I already played for another program, and it's just like, you know, you have all these personalities, guys are funny, it's crazy, it's college. So it's like being able to set a tone, and you're coming in and you know it's tough because the guys love Coach Taylor. Like all the players, you know, he's renowned. He's one of the best coaches probably ODU history. You know, they've won. You know, all these things, and then you bring in a new coach, and Coach Jones is a great coach in his own right, but it's a new environment, and then come over and have to set a tone, and it's like it's not like he brought people with him. You know what I mean? He brought coaches with him, but it wasn't like now, like you leave, like Coach Kyle will bring some guys with him. You know what I mean? But Coach Jones just brought. I remember one time, Coach was like, it was like the red shirt year. It was like emotional. I remember he was like, man, everybody's talking about when my players get here. And he was just like, y'all are my players. Like, you know what I mean? Trying to let it be known that I'm invested 100% in the guys that we have here. And it was like it's tough, man, because Coach Jones is strict, you know, and he has his style that we are set to play. And it was like he made everybody buy in for the betterment of the team. And that's really why we had the records that we had in my 2 years that we played. Like we had great teams, but it was like people were bought into their role of like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this the best I can. And you know what I mean? I'm going to screen as hard as I can. I'm going to play defense. I'm going to dive on loose ball. And that was just the culture that he was able to set. And it was tough, man. I remember we would have like curfew and we would have breakfast checks. I've never had a breakfast check. Like we have to go, like if you have an 8 o'clock class, you have to be at breakfast check at 7:15. And it was just like, and I would just watch my teammates. You know, some of them had to go to study hall after breakfast and then practice in study hall again. It was a tight ship, man. But it was like even like now I'm coaching, but it's like I'm watching. It's like, man, it's tough, but it's like he was tenured enough to know what needed to be done to change a program. So, and when you're in it, you're just like, oh my gosh, this guy, man, he's tough. And watching my teammates, they're going through it, but it's like we won, man. When you win, everything feels better.
Yeah, and you're not kidding. Your first year, Old Dominion, you guys go 27-8. Tough matchups with Middle Tennessee State, but we make it a beautiful run in the NIT. Go to the NIT Final Four at the Garden.
Yeah.
Which includes the shot. I mean, this is the moment. And if I think about games at the TED that are just amazing atmospheres, that game is like number one for me because it's one of the few games they've done general admission seating. So you got rowdy fans in the front row where maybe some older fans might usually be.
Yeah.
The place was just rocking.
It was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that whole year though, I know the shot was crazy, but there was like a weekend we had like Louisiana Tech, and they were like number one, and they had like the Speedy Smith guy and all these guys that were winning like Player of the Year over me. They came to our house, and then Western Kentucky like was our senior night. But like those 2 weekends, I was like, man, I've never played in anything that was that fun. I mean, we were smacking these guys by like 20 something, and then when we got to the TED for that was crazy because I didn't even know that I was going to be able to play because my ankle was so bad. Like I couldn't even walk. And like it was so bad the next day, like all that after, like my ankle probably didn't heal till like August, like July, August. Like I was in pain. Like it never really felt back until like almost the next year. Like it was huge, man. But it was like the adrenaline because I tried to play Illinois State, but I couldn't play. And Keenan Palmore had a really, really good game. John Arledge had a really, really good game, and they carried us. And that's just like the professionalism that was instated by our coach, and just like the vibe of the team, man. It was like next man up, and it would have been anything for some of these guys to like pout or not be ready, but they were just ready. They were ready on call. Like they didn't know, you know what I mean? And then when we get to Murray State, it was like, man, I felt good. Like I remember waking up. My mom did like this remedy with like some apple cider vinegar on my ankle, and then like I was in treatment all day with Jason, and I remember I just woke up. I was like, yo, coach, I think I'm good, man. Like I went and shot around a little at the Jim Jarrett practice gym, and then like game time, I was like, oh yeah, I'm good. Like I was jumping a little, I felt good. And I just played, man. I just felt great. I mean, we shouldn't even had to hit a half court shot. We turned the ball over a couple of times at the end. Ambrose Mosley did, man. We shouldn't even we shouldn't have even been in that situation.
Hold that thought for a second, because I want you to walk us through this, Trey. So let's relive this here for a second. All right.
And he's a 60% 3-point shooter. Some teams run it from our right side of the floor. They're putting all their guys in the middle.
Listen to that crowd.
Trying to throw it to the right side because everyone on the floor right now is ball handlers right-handed.
Yeah, look at it.
There it is. Here's Freeman.
That was not a travel.
No.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I just remember like the main thing was like catching the. I just need to get the ball, and then there was enough time to get where I needed to get on the court. It's not really like I really didn't shoot it from half court. I shot it across the half court line. I got to a pretty good spot, within range. But I remember like it was in slow motion. Like I shot it. It was like a movie. Like it was just like quiet. I feel like I could hear a pin drop when I shot it. It looked good, but I mean, you never know. But like I practiced it 100 times every day. I always missed it. Like airball it, hit the backboard, all this stuff. I mean, we would still run it. And then like at the end, I was running to my like family, my brothers and stuff, and they tackled me. So it was cool. Like those were my best friends right there, Zell and Joe. So we were hype. So it was like a real special shot right there for sure. But it's like I never even thought that it would have been. I don't know. I really wasn't thinking. I just wanted to win the game, really, because campaign was on the other team. They were talking. I remember my coaches were hyping him up, like, "Oh man, he's an NBA guy. Whatever. He said he's gonna bust your butt when he comes into the TED. He's gonna kick your butt, or whatever." So they will always hype me up because I feel like I played better. Like every time they said somebody with NBA really was coming, I really wanted to go to the NBA. So I just tried. I had a good game, but it was just like. I don't know. We should have beat them by more than that. So, but I was
The
happy.
guy guarding you, did he think you stepped out?
I don't know. I wasn't even worried about him. I don't like the guy guarding me. I never worry about the guy guarding me. I worry about who's the next man coming. Cause like I just try to get past my guy and figure out what's next. Really.
Because you got to that edge, and then you just broke away from him.
Yeah, man. But I missed that shot so many times in practice, man. That was nice to finally hit it.
What was it?
So,
What was it like
talk
after
about
you
that.
made that? I'm sorry, Mike. You made that, and the crowd just engulfed you. Your teammates and the crowd engulfed you over there, under the basket.
Man, it was crazy. I didn't think I processed. I mean, I knew what happened, but I was like, what? Like that never happens. Like so like this never happens. Like so it was really special, man. And I get stopped a lot. I probably get stopped. I don't know. I get stopped a lot about that shot, and I get stopped, or I used to get stopped even more. But that and my Kellum team, man, when we were in losing at the scope, man. Like I feel like there's so many people that were at both of those things. Like when we sold out the scope and then that shot, I feel like everybody was at both of these things. So it was an awesome play, man. And great pass, and we executed it well. There was a lot of moving parts for why that worked, for sure.
So you said you'd been working on that shot. I mean, talk to us about that. How often were you working on that shot?
So at the end of every practice, Coach Jones and the coaches, we would run over like last minute, last second plays, different things for different situations. So there was like a preparation involved. Like we knew the play. So like it's not like when he draws up the play at the end of the game, this is our first time running it. Like we practiced it probably the second half of the season. After every practice, the last 10 minutes, we're running like, baseline out of bounds last minute, side out of bounds, last, whatever. Full court, we got 30 seconds. What play are we going to run? We're down by 2. So we have all these things in our toolbox. So we drew it up. He drew it up, and it was like, yeah, we just ran it. But I mean, I wasn't really worried. There was no pressure. It was a tie game. I thought we were better than them. So when it went to overtime, I was probably we were gonna kick their butts in overtime anyway. But it shouldn't have even been there. But I was just like, I wasn't worried about catching the ball. I just wanted to make sure I got it. I wanted the ball. I didn't want to put it in anybody else's hands to like, no pressure. Just give me the ball and I'll shoot it. I'll get a shot up on the rim.
So I will say this: this is all the same time period as the "Don't Tread at the TED" Monarchs.
Yeah,
You guys,
I was our team. Yeah.
yeah. How many in a row was it? I think it was 32 straight home games.
Yeah, it was a lot. I don't know exact numbers. It might have been like upper 20s or low 30s because it went into the next
Yeah.
year.
I ran out of fingers and toes, man.
Yeah, it went into the next year, man. It was crazy. Like I remember, like it was so weird though because when I'm growing up, right, and we were watching ODU, it was like the CAA was getting like 3 bids. It was like that. So when we were playing, I'm like, man, it was kind of sad because I was like, we're in Conference USA, and Conference USA has a name to it. It sounds like Memphis or D Rose, like all this stuff. And then in the grand scheme of it, it's like we're 27 and whatever we are, and we're beating everybody in the A10. We're smacking them. Like we beat Richmond, we beat George Mason, we beat VCU, we beat like everybody that they put in front of us, beat LSU. We were beating everybody. But it was like we would win every game at home by like 20. And then it was like when you're on good teams, it's like sometimes you play not to lose because the record was so heavy and it felt like, if you lose one game, oh, you're out of the tournament. Now you got to win the whole thing. And it was like I just remember, man, we would be on these road trips and it would be like the RPI of the other teams, like we would win and our RPI would go down. It was insane. I'm like, man, we might as well. I mean, what do they want from us? Like, we play Rice. Like, you get nothing from playing Rice. It's like you win the game, but it's like they're penalizing us for that. And then, like, our out of conference, we were beating everybody. I mean, we lost to like everybody we beat went to the tournament, but it was just like I just remember being like our team was nice, but it was like they didn't give us any grace for any losses. It was so weird. It was like we could be ranked, we lose one game. These teams aren't bad. Like, the top of conference USA was really good, and the bottom wasn't so good. But it was like 16. It was a bunch of teams. But it was like, I don't know. I just remember that. I was like, man, the dynamics of college sports were changing because, like when I was watching Frank and them, it was like all three of these teams are going to the tournament, and all three of them won in the first round. So it was just like, I don't know. It was frustrating. That was a frustrating part about playing in my 2 years because it's like we didn't go to the tournament, but we had, in my opinion, we had some of the more exciting teams in the last whatever years, and we had a good product, man. We had a good team, well coached. Played hard. We were always top 12, 15 in defense in the country. Like we were a tough team. We were a tough out. But it was like it didn't matter.
Yeah, it's gotten worse in the last few years, but you guys were one of the first teams where they're trying to make any excuse to leave you out and
Yeah.
put another high major in.
Oh, it was crazy. I remember, man, we messed up that first game at Middle Tennessee. We didn't play good at all. The bye. Sometimes I think the bye hurts you, man, because we had that bye because we had a really good year and we were ranked in that year. I think we were the first ODU team to be ranked
Yeah,
or something.
top 25. Yeah.
We were top
Still the
25.
only one.
Yeah, we were top 25, and we lost to Middle Tennessee. And Middle Tennessee, it was just a tough matchup for us. But it was like I remember that ride home, man. Oh my gosh, our hearts were broke, man. I mean, it was tough, man. I mean, we ran so much for that loss. Like I just remember, like coach was like, "Man, you put it in their hands. Get on the line, beep." And he was like talking to us like, "You guys didn't do what y'all were supposed to." You know what I mean? It was like, man, I really it hurt because as you know, man, nothing's promised the next year. And like we had such a great team, like tenured. We had John Arledge. Like you're not getting a John Arledge back the next year. Richard Ross, you're not getting him back. And then you got Joey Bondo. Like these are good team locker room guys, good men, good people. It was just like, man, bro, like we had such a good team. Like all summer we were working out. We were doing like beach volleyball. Like we were doing all this like med ball volleyball. Like we were doing summer workouts like 6 in the morning, all this stuff. And it was like, man, it's just crazy how like one or two games we lost one bad game at UTSA, and like that gave us our at large bid. Had we beat them, we probably would have got in at large probably anyway. But it was like I don't know, it was just crazy, man. It was so tough, and I just remember that like my 2 years there, I feel like we won 25 plus games both years with ODU. And it's like we still couldn't get in, man. It was tough. And I don't know which one hurt more, the first year or the second year. Because the first year we were ranked and we were like, we probably were a better team. But the second year we trended so great at the end that it was like, I thought it was our year. Like I was like, man, we won like 3 straight. We just needed 4 straight to go in. So it was like, I mean, we lost to Middle Tennessee by like 2 points or a point. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It was crazy.
And both of those Middle Tennessee squads were really good. Like they didn't get
Yeah, they had what was it? Giddy Potts, and then what was the other kid's name? I can
The big
picture
man.
him.
Reggie Upshaw and
Oh, Reggie Upshaw.
yeah, Giddy
Because
Pop.
I went to the Final Four and the senior game. BJ and Ahmad
Oh
were
yeah.
there, and Reggie Upshaw, and so I went to that and walked past him, and I had my ODU gear on, and I was like, dude, I'm so happy that you're graduating, and he just had a big old smile on his face.
Nah, yeah, they had some good teams. I mean, they had a lot of good teams, and they had some good teams, good players, man. It was tough. It was a tough path, man. But it was just like, I don't know. It's like sometimes I'm like, man, if we were in that different time period and we were to play in whatever, or if we played in the A10, we would have been fine. We would have been fine, man. We would have been in the tournament probably 2 years straight.
Was that shot your favorite moment, or was there another play that is your most kind of fond memory of playing hoops at Old Dominion?
I think, I don't know. I remember that last year, I was hitting some shots. I mean, like some game winners, game tying shots. The ODU shot, I mean the Murray State shot was, I mean, obviously that's like once in a lifetime. But I just remember that last year, I feel like I was like on a run of like 28 plus points, like 7 or 8 games. And I mean, the game I had 40 something in the conference semifinals against Western Kentucky. That game was crazy for me. I mean, I had a lot of great memories. That senior night I was talking about when we played Western Kentucky and Joe got to start, that was probably like my funnest game I've played in. Like, I just remember getting the crowd hype and Louisiana every time we played Louisiana Tech. Like, I don't know. I loved playing at ODU. I had a lot of great memories, and but the bus ride, the plane trips, it was funny, man. We really had a really close family, so I had a lot. I mean, just sitting in the office and talking trash with Coach Stith and Coach Barrett, ranking our favorite players, stuff like that. I mean, we had shootouts, on the court and playing Coach Stith one-on-one. I had so many great memories at ODU for sure.
Well, one of those memories, I imagine this is one of them, is after your last season here, you guys get a bid to the Vegas 16, and you guys win the thing.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember not even I could say probably half the team probably didn't even want to play. We were so fed up because, man, I mean, we left it all on the court at Middle Tennessee. And I remember I was crying and I was sick, man. Like, we lost by like a point or two. I didn't have my best game. I think I don't even know what I had, maybe 17, 19 maybe. But I was on a run that whole thing. I think I set the record for points in the tournament and all this stuff. And it just was like, we did all that. We won every game, and then we felt that close. And it just hurt me, man, because when I look at like ball, part of it is like all that stuff changes your life. Like, when I think about Kellum and we lost to Dodo and Norcom and we were 27-1, I just think about all the people that come after me and like setting them up to be better situation than I was in, if that makes sense. So I look at the coaches, I look at the players, and it's like, man, have we gotten to go to the dance? All of us would have been good. You know what I mean? And it's like, when I look at Kellum, when I look at I don't know. It's just like, I just looked at ODU, and that's what hurt me. It was like, man, had we gone to the dance, ODU would have been back on the map, and like, it would have created that thing again that was missing when I came. It was like, 5-25. I grew up watching Ben and Frank and DJ and all these greats from the area too, from the 7x7. And it was like, oh man, I wanted to put it back where it was supposed to be. So it was like, when it didn't work, that's what hurt. It wasn't like, oh, like selfishly, like for me, it was just like, man, that allows Ahmad to have better looks. That allows BJ to have more eyes on them so they can go to the league. That allows the guys behind me, and the coaches too, rightfully so. I mean, they did a great job. So, I mean, it just makes it better for everybody.
So, a lot of great experience, a lot of life lessons, a lot of corporate knowledge that you picked up during that time. So, joining that team, you can't, obviously it was coming off a really tough season in the 2012-13. New coach, new start. Now, new coach Jones. This year's team's it's different, but sort of in a similar manner. New coach, new team, coming off of a season in which there were a lot of struggles. What advice would you have for guys on this squad? Obviously, the season's not over. Still a couple games left and then the tournament. But With all those lessons that you and experience you had, what would you tell those guys?
I would say, man, you have to really be locked in. I mean, the thing about it is, as a student athlete, you only have so much time, you know, and you only have your experience in college is different. Obviously, like, you know, a lot of people are enjoying college. Get what you want out of it. Obviously, if you want to do whatever, but it's like if you really want to be great, you're gonna have to sacrifice some things. Um, on the court, off the court, you have to sacrifice. You have to be bought into whatever your coach is telling you, because that's how the team is good, man. There's a million different ways to win basketball games. Coach Jones used to say that. Oh, there's so many different ways, but we're gonna do it my way. Everybody has to like buy into the way Coach Jones is telling the team. Like, you have a game plan. If you're hard hedging, you're hard hedging. If you're, you know what I mean? Like, everybody has to know what we're doing. What are we doing? What is our identity? How are we gonna make it work? Like, when I don't know, there's a pride about it too. You have to have like a pride about being where you are. It's really not. I really don't, when I played, it wasn't all about me, man. It was really about like, oh man, I want to honor my parents. I want to honor my brothers, man. They taught me so much. I want to, you know, honor my coaches, my teammates. It was much bigger. That's why I get emotional talking about it, because it was like, man, I'm so thankful I had Coach Stith in the gym with me, you know? So when I go out here, I got to show all the stuff he showed me, you know what I mean? And it's like, there's that type of chip on my shoulder too, because I wanted to prove people wrong that didn't think I could play college basketball. So you have to hold on to your story and then just stay true to who you are. Like, the same thing that got you there, you have to keep working once you get to college. You can't just get there and think it's okay because you made it to college. It's not the NBA. It's not anything, you know. I mean, it's a lot, but it's like, if you want to continue to grow, you have to really keep working on your craft, and like, anything's possible, but you gotta really lock in. And then in the tournament, it's like, who cares what you did in the season? It's, you have to go ahead and win one game, win one game. All you gotta do is get hot at the right time. Nobody cares, you know what I mean? Like we say, like, you can win. We were ranked. We lost to Middle Tennessee. Like, anybody can get got on any day. So why not us, man? But you have to really believe. You have to believe, and you just have to go and get hot at the right time. And then nobody cares what your overall record was, because it's scary when the team gets hot right around now. And then the other teams, they'll start playing not to win, not to lose, and then it'll get a little bit difficult then. So I think you just stay bought in with who you are, what are we doing, and just buy in.
Makes sense. And this team has nothing to lose. So just go out and play ball.
Play ball, man. And then just, you know, pay attention, study, do your, you know, scouting report, make sure that you pay attention to the small things. All these things can lead to a win or a loss. Control the margin of error. Like, that's one thing that our team did really well. Like, it was like, we didn't have a lot of turnovers. We didn't have a lot of steals, but we didn't have a lot of turnovers. We could D up, we could get stops, and we got a shot on goal every time, pretty much. So it wasn't like, that's half the battle right there. Limit turnovers, limit dumb shots. Let's take a shot. Everybody on the team knows that we want to take, so we can have rebounders in the set, defensive transition. We don't want to give up easy buckets. They should have to work for every point. So I mean, that's the mindset that we were taught. So, but you know, it's different terminology, different theories on how to win. But whatever your theory is, you have to buy in. Like, we used to play against Marshall with D'Antoni. Them dudes were amazing, but it was like a clash of styles. It was like, man, my head was on a swivel. They were playing fast and they were throwing lobs over our head. It looked like it was fun to play there. You know what I mean? But it was like, we could still beat them. It was still tough, but it was like, there's different styles of basketball, but it's only hard if everybody wants to buy into it. It's not hard if half the team's playing ODU style, half the team's playing Marshall style. You got to all buy into the one style.
That's a good example because, I mean, Jeff kind of dominated D'Antoni his whole time here. Didn't matter how
Yeah.
good we were. We had a
Yeah.
chance against Marshall every time.
You were just talking about this the other night, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, You slow them down and you pull them out of their rhythm.
Yeah, because I remember that was the same thing about Louisiana Tech. I never lost to Louisiana Tech once, and they played like a easy style of basketball. Like it was nice. They pressured you. They get stops, cool. They're gonna lob it up. They'll have some highlights, all this stuff. But when we would sit down and play defense, we weren't really worried about any of that. Same thing with VCU. Like that year, we had Richard as an anchor and John. We weren't worried about any of that. We really weren't. Like I don't know. And it's like, VCU had good defense, but our defense was great. And it was a different style of great because VCU had Briante, and Briante was my AAU teammate for Boo Williams. So he would, I know he would steal the ball and, dunk it. We would just play solid, man. It was hard to score on us. But it's just like, I don't know, man. It's just different styles. That's the great thing about basketball, man. There's no one right way. Like you look at Coach Taylor's teams, they were playing out of the post a lot. They were playing inside out more so. I was coming off of like pin downs, and we had a lot of staggers in our offense. They were like throwing it in the Big Frank, throwing it in Gerald Lee. They had like slashers in the wing. You know what I mean? So it's just different styles, man.
Hopefully, I'm not jumping past where you want to be. If so, put it in reverse, Mike. You started coaching now. Head coach,
Yeah.
Kempsville High School. Obviously, this is a transition in your life. Talk to us a little bit about Coach Trey Freeman.
Yeah, so it's been extremely challenging to coach. There's a frustration. I don't know if it's my love for the game. I love basketball, and I try to honor. Basketball did a lot for me. It paid for my education. It allowed me to see the world. It did all these things for me. But it's hard to go back to high school because they haven't seen what I've seen, or they haven't experienced what I've experienced. They haven't been coached by Coach Jones. They haven't been coached. They didn't go away. Like their experience is so like on a fundamental level, and it's like trying to teach things in 2 hours, and you don't have the film session. It's not like I can be like, yo, show up to the film room at 6 a.m. Like I remember one time we got our butts kicked at Richmond, and coach, we got film at 5 a.m. Or 6 a.m. and we watch film, and he tells us, we were watching how bad we look, and it's embarrassing, and because it's a job. So coming from playing basketball as a career and as a job, and playing college, playing for money, D-League, NBA training camp, overseas, and then coming back and then dealing with the kids, and they're like, sometimes it feels like they don't respect me because I don't know if it's, they didn't see me play, or I don't know. It's weird. And I don't know if it's because I'm younger, but it's like a culture, like having to rebuild the culture, except I'm not in the game to settle everyone down. I'm on the side trying to settle everyone down. And so it's challenging because I can't go out here and outwork everybody every day and show. I mean, I could just suit up and do that, but it's like, what do they gain out of that? So it's like I'm more of like a show you than tell you guys. So like trying to adjust and really like, I don't know, deal with the personalities and try to be softer and make sure they understand what I'm asking them to do, and teach them and try to teach them the main thing. But it's been great, man. I'm just trying to help them have better opportunities than I had coming out of high school, teaching them the game a little bit more. Like they don't have to go to college to learn the game at a collegiate level. Teach them like tricks and things like that I didn't learn until I got to ODU. So just trying to cultivate that culture, but that takes time. And with the lack of experience I have as a coach, it's really opened my eyes to how many great coaches that I've had, because just dealing with all this nonsense every day, I'm like, man, I don't know how they were dealing with us, man. Like, you know what I mean? But it's awesome. I mean, I hit up my coaches. I hit up Coach Jones, Coach Donahue, Stith. I hit up everybody, asking them advice. What would you do in this situation? But a lot of it's like, to be honest, it's much more behavior stuff that you have to deal with at the high school level. Like it's like trying to get them to be, respectful and show up on time to things and a lot of other stuff than just basketball. So it's much more. Coaching is much more than just basketball. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have an impact on these kids' lives, and some of them might be going through a lot of trouble at home. There's a whole lot going on in high school.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then you got the kids that just think they know better than everybody else.
yeah.
That's all of
Yeah,
them, man. I got a kid who's about to turn 17. They're always smarter than you.
I know, man. But it's like I think I don't know, there's something missing. I think everybody thinks they're going to play college basketball. And it might be easier now. I don't know. I don't think it is because I don't know. I'll have to tell them. I was like, guys, I was, I mean, I was averaging 20 something. My team never lost, and I only got one offer. So I'm like, I don't know who y'all know that I don't know because I got coaches that coach at Ole Miss. I know all the coaches at ODU. I know coaches at VCU. I know coaches at UCF. I know more coaches than my high school coach knew. Because all my old coaches are coaches in college still. So it's like I'm like, guys, Ambrose Mosley's at Bethune-Cookman. I'm just like, guys, y'all, if y'all want to play, you're gonna have to develop and do something. Like you're gonna have to. I think they think because you can have a highlight tape or you look cool on TikTok that means you get a scholarship. And I'm just like, man, they're just out of touch. It's hard to play college basketball. It's hard to be seen, and it's hard to be chosen. Like there's so many good kids in the world, but it's like I don't know. I don't know if my story is like an outlier, but I don't think it is. I think it's just hard to get there. I think it's just hard to get there. And I'm trying to like tell them that like, you have to really work, man. It's not as easy for everybody. Some people they got to do above and beyond, and the journeys are different for everyone.
Yeah, the numbers back you up that it is not easy.
Yeah,
Well, what? So you talk about the high school to college basketball, any level. This like includes JUCO and D3. I think it's like 5%, maybe less.
yeah,
And then you go to college, and the amount that make the pros, it's like 1%.
yeah. I mean, I went to I think like what changed my life was I played for Boo. I played for the B team for Boo Williams, and I played for Coach Woods. Coach Woods really changed my life, man. Like he put like this. I don't know. He was really tough on me, man. I think it was because I'm from the beach, but he really developed me at an elite level that prepared me to play for anybody. Like like he was snapping on me, like all this stuff, and it like made me tougher because I would, we would practice at Maury and me, and it was like Breonte Weber, Enoch Hood, all these guys wanted to play college, and but I was kind of unknown because I snuck into the tryout. I snuck in, and I made the team. I almost made the A team, but I made the B team, and it was good, and but it really changed my life. But back then it was hard because there was only one team to really get out of to get to college. It was like you play for a Boo, like you had to make the team, and that was it. You had to make the A team or the B team, and that's your way out. Now it's like everybody plays AAU. There's like all these different AAU organizations, and it's good because guys have a chance to be seen, but it gives like this optic that I feel like everybody thinks they can play, like really play basketball. And it's like, I don't know if where are they really being taught, Um, I know they get to play, but you can play basketball at the rec center. But it's like, I don't know. It was hard. It was really hard, man. It was just hard to get to play AAU back then. So I don't know. It's good. I'm happy. I'm happy where basketball is, and I'm happy that people get an opportunity to play. But I remember when we were playing, it was just hard to get out, man. It was challenging. I had to sneak into a tryout
Yeah,
like
it's
that. You know what I mean?
definitely changed because I think
Yeah,
now people realize how much money they can make running AAU programs.
yeah,
You see that to select in baseball as well. Like I don't know. There's Canes baseball. There's one Canes team that is for free, and that's where the real ballers are at, right?
Yeah,
But there's like 6 other Canes teams in each region that are paying for those kids to play for. Like people are paying to play on those teams. It's
yeah.
it's crazy.
It's not about the kids, and parents are willing to pay because hey, my kid plays in a program. I mean,
Yeah,
not my program, but
They're all selling. They're all getting sold a dream. That's
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
That's the hard part because it's like I remember for me, it wasn't like my parents were not like, "Oh, you're going to play, you're going to play." My dad was like, "Man, you ain't going to play." Like, like at a young age, you're not gonna go play unless you work. Like, you have to go work. You have to show me that you want to go play. You're gonna have to show me. So I would just work, man. So it's just different, man. I think kids don't put it. Well, I can't say all kids. Some kids do, but it's just like entitlement in the sense of like they think they deserve something because they're good. But it's like there's so many good guys that didn't play college basketball ever. There's so many guys that didn't make it to the NBA that were really good. Like that's just life. That you don't get something because you're a nice person and you like basketball. Everybody likes basketball. Like it doesn't matter. What can you really do? What effort do you show? Like so that's where we are, I feel like. And I try to be real with my team, but it's like I mean, I want everybody to go. If everybody could go, that would be the best thing. I use my resources to try to get, they've had ODU has come to games. Coach Odell Hodge has come to games. Coach Mike Jones has come to games. CJ from Norfolk State. Coach CJ was my assistant for Boo. So we've had Norfolk State in the house. We've had more teams come to their games that ever came to my games. You know what I mean? But it's like, what are you doing? How are you working to really be better than just showing up during the season? So it's like a real heart to heart that has to be had. Like how bad do you really want it? So it is what it is.
so speaking of kids and dreaming to play at that next level, what would you share with a prospective student athlete who is considering Old Dominion?
Hmm. I would say, man, I ODU is like a great school to go to. I played at 2 different schools. There's a camaraderie. There's like a nation, like a ODU nation that's there for you or that'll show up consistently. And it basically takes over the 757 and your impact here is here forever, really. Me being from here is a whole nother thing to it. You know what I mean? So there's an aspect of when I was playing here, like the local kids, if I could talk to the local kids, like you got to think your family can come to the games. You have I had like teachers popping up at the games and tapping me in the huddles and Trey, I was your 7th grade teacher. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like ODU really is this area right here, the 757 area, which is a great area. You have great coaches here. Coach Mike Jones. These guys have won. They were winners when they played. They've coached some great players in their past. They know basketball. The administration at ODU is great. Like it's just, I mean, I don't know. It's so much greatness at ODU. There's a rich history on the women and men's side. And the people they still come back around. It's nothing to reach out to them, see them. Like Kent used to play with us in the summers. Frank comes back every summer. We would work out. Me and Frank will work out. That was my workout partner. So I mean, Ben Finney. It's nothing for Ben Finney to come back. So it really was it really is like a family atmosphere and something that I think Coach Mike Jones has done a great job of reaching out to the alumni, and it's really bringing people back. It feels open armed to everybody. So I think you'll see the amount of guys coming back more, or you probably have been seeing as well. It's really impactful that he really is he really bleeds blue for real, and the amount of connections and contacts that he has is amazing. So it's really like once you've played there, like you're good. Come back whenever you want. It's all love.
So you mentioned it, Frank coming back to practice with you. he is still coming back and giving these kids the business.
Yeah, Frank's a different beast, man. He really is. Frank was playing when I was in college, and he's still playing. And he's just me and Frank have similar work ethics. Like I was kind of crazy. Like I would just be in the gym all day. Frank is the same way. Like I hit him up. Like when we were overseas, we would come in the gym. We work out 2-3 times a day, and that's just who we are. But he's a good guy, man. A lot of those guys are good guys, really. Frank, Darius, Ben. I remember Ben, man. He was chilling. I feel like he was finishing out his degree when I first got there, and he would just come play with us. I mean, he is so good at basketball. It's a problem. Like I just remember, like, and it's like only real hoopers will know because we were. This was like in the summers we would play sideways at the Jarrett, so there would be like 2 main courts going, and like Briante would be back. Briante would be home. Weber, Vernon Macklin would be home. Frank, Denzel Bowles, Quinn, Kyle Quinn. It would be like all these Desley, all these pros that went away and played, and they would come to ODU. We would have these great runs. Dorian Finney-Smith would come, and all my old teammates and guys, we all around the same age. Marcus Evans from Rice, I don't know if y'all remember him, and all these good guys that we would just be playing, man. And I remember Ben was guarding me one day, man. Ben felt like he was like this big, and I just because on these small little side courts, it was like, man, I had to try him. So I would try these guys, and it would just be like he just had a great feel for the game. And he was just fun to compete against, and he's just a good player, man. Ben was amazing. I mean, he was just such a selfless person too. I mean, I just remember that. I was like, man, dude could hoop. Him
And there weren't many who were more hard-nosed than him. He was so tough and would not back down from anybody.
Yeah, man. They had those type of guys, man, on our teams, man. Isaiah Hunter. Isaiah Hunter was a GA, and we used to just play like one-on-one. Like it would just be fun, man. Me and Isaiah would just be in the gym all day. Isaiah used to talk trash to me. He'd be like, man, Trey, when are you gonna score over 28? And I would be like, man, bro, I can't score more than it. Like, I don't know. And then like he's just like these guys were like big brothers to me, really. And Frank and all these guys, man. They were like some tough dudes, man. They were like real good guys that, taught us a lot along the way. So
All right. Speaking of teammates, Martin Shaw, BJ Stith. We know a little bit of it from Jay Hassecker. He told us how Martin's went to law school. He's a lawyer now.
yeah.
BJ did his LSATs. He's about to finish law school. And I heard you were interested or might be starting that process too.
Yeah. So I'm interested for sure. I've been studying and I've been picking their brains, man. Those are some smart guys. So, Martin was always very smart, and he always knew what he wanted to do past basketball. Martin was like one of the hardest workers on our team too, to be honest. So and BJ was cool. BJ was a hard worker too, great player. So I just picked their brains really about it. And they're just kind of like, if you put the work ethic that you had towards basketball into this, you should be all right. So that's the path I was really looking at for it. So it's been good, challenging, definitely to get back in the books a little, but that's just the path. That's what it's gonna take. So it's been good.
Any particular pathway type of
No,
law
like
that you're looking at?
no, like to be honest, when this summer, like I got hit up by a few different places to coach, and I was like, man, I don't know if I actually want to coach. And then I was like, man, maybe God's trying to tell me something. Like maybe I need to really look into it. And and then when I'm coaching, when I'm doing basketball, man, I love basketball, so it's easy to like get lost in basketball for me. So then I'm like, man, maybe I really want to coach. Maybe, you know what I mean? So I was talking to my coaches and everybody. So I've been really just feeling it out, really what I really want to do next, because I love basketball, and it's like I'm really like a basketball nerd, really. So it's just like I know like everything historically about basketball and all this stuff. It just matters to me. So I love basketball, but it was just I don't know. I always like when I was in high school, I wanted to do law, but when I got into basketball, like seriously, I was just trying to go to the NBA, trying to go to the NBA. So it was just trying to figure out what is it I really want, and then how to attack it the right way.
Well, I think if you decide to go that pathway, I think you know the sky's the limit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I was like, even I hit up Coach Mike Jones. I was asking him about before I took the job, and I talked to Coach Jeff Jones, my coach too. And I was like, man, what do you think? Do you think I should, between this job or this job? And they're just, it depends on what you're really trying to do. And it's just, I love basketball, but it's like, man, I've been chasing basketball since I was like a little kid. And sometimes I feel like, man, I've been already all over the world. If I really get into like, if I try to go for college coaching or something like that, it's just more of the instability of basketball that comes with it. And it's like, I don't know if I want to do that for the next 20 years. Like, again, you know what I mean? I was like all over the world chasing basketball, and you never know. You get hurt, whatever, you get cut, fired. Same thing as a coach. So it's like, I don't know. It's a tough decision to make, but I try to weigh it out.
Oh man, we could go all night, but obviously you don't have that time, Trey. But Mike, you ready to do some fun questions before we close this thing out?
I guess I mean I feel we're just touching the tip of the iceberg here with this conversation, but
We'll have to do a
let's do
part
it.
two sometime.
Yeah, I'm down for part two.
Awesome. All right. Well, we always have some fun questions. Don't think too hard on these things. Whatever pops into your head. There's no right answers. There's no wrong answers.
Okay.
Mike, get us started, man.
All right. You traveled the world.
Yeah.
You played basketball in the G League, played for the Pistons for a short spell. You played in Puerto Rico. When you came back to the 757, what was that one spot that you were like, I gotta go?
One spot, like for food.
What was the when you're going home? Where's that like place? I gotta hit this place up.
Yeah, that's a good question. I always crave like cheesesteaks for some reason, man. So I always like, I don't know, I like Eagles or the one on Tidewater Drive, Philly cheesesteaks, whatever. I like cheesesteaks. It would be like something real good like that, like cheesesteak or something. I can't remember where else. There's like one more place. I'm gonna think about it, but it's always like some food that I'm craving that I just couldn't get overseas.
You're speaking our language. We like food.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like I remember
I was
after.
thinking you were going to say the rec center because I've heard some reports of you giving people the business at these rec centers, and they didn't
Yeah,
even realize who you were.
yeah. That happens all the time. But yeah, but like when I was done playing, I wouldn't go back to the Rex like that because they would guys would try to get too crazy, man. So I really would go to ODU a lot to work out with Chris Kovinsky, and we would work out with Frank. But I mean, yeah, I still would go into a gym and do work, but it was just like I don't know. I be feeling like I'm picking on people sometimes, so I just chill out.
That's why sometimes I see like videos of Kent. It looks like he's running in some rec center just dunking on people and hitting threes in their faces.
Yeah. Guys get mad, man. They don't want to come home from work and then get their butt kicked in like that. So you gotta chill out.
All right.
Yeah, I think it was like last year. It was an anniversary of that 47-point game, and I go this day in ODU history. Trey Freeman goes off, and I had the clip of that game, and someone in our replies goes, "Hey man, that guy was that guy was schooling me last week at the rec."
Yeah. Straight mid ranges too, man. Straight mid ranges.
That's right. You're like 22 of 23, just killing them.
Nah, yeah, we are. I mean, that game was crazy though. That was a crazy experience. But yeah, Eagles. I like the cheesesteaks, man. P Franks. I like P Franks. If I'm back in if we pull up to ODU, if like Nick Bibberai's in town. Like when Denzel came this summer, we went to Del Vex. Like the pizza spot right next, like on Hampton Boulevard. As a team, we used to go after every game to Dirty Buffalo. And we would get like the wings. We were foodies, man. We would go to Belmont's. Belmont's isn't no longer a thing. They had like 50-cent wings on Tuesdays. Me and Nick would go there. Me, Nick, Ambrose, Deion Clark. We would go to Handsome Biscuit. Me and John Arledge. We were foodies, man. We like to eat.
That eats together, wins together.
Yeah, we used to eat, man. We used to go 10 deep, man.
Those wing nights at New Belmont were crazy. That place
they
was
used to
packed.
have those golden wings. They would have these golden wings, man. I love golden wings, man.
You can
Talking
still
about
get their
food too
wings
late,
at,
man.
You can still get their wings at Hank's.
Hank's?
Yeah, because the owners of New Belmont, they opened Hank's.
Oh, I didn't know that. I gotta tell Nick.
All right, so you were in the gym all the time, so you can't pick the gym. Other than the gym and other than the TED, what was your favorite place on the campus of Old Dominion?
Other than the gym or the TED?
I know it's hard.
Yeah, I know, man. I really liked all the gyms. I liked the gym Jarrett because I used to sneak in there late at night and we would just work out, man.
They didn't just give you a key.
No, it was shut down, man, but we knew how to pull the door really hard and open it up, or the janitors would let me in. And we would go in there. Like my brothers would pop up though. Like they would come in like right now. They would be coming to the gym. We might not be done till 1, and we would go shoot like all the time. I used to like the rec center because it was like cool. If basketball stressed me out, I could just go watch people play, and you just see how fun basketball. Everybody loves basketball. The Web Center, I love the Web Center. The Web Center had all the food, man. It was cool. Everybody would kind of congregate there. That was probably my favorite spot. Just the Web Center. Just walk through there. I would just walk through there on the way to the gym. You see like the Greek life and different people. It was cool.
All right. So Aaron has written hobbies with a question mark here. But Trey, I mean, obviously you love hoops. You're coaching now. I mean, you're in it. How does Trey Freeman relax?
I don't know. I like the bowl. I like bowling. I do like bowling. I don't do it as much as I like. I like fishing. I don't do it as much as I like. I just like spending time with family. I'm really like low key. Like I don't really go out a lot or anything like that. Like even when I was at ODU, I didn't go out. I didn't party a lot. I wasn't really like that was like more of my teammates, but I would show up every now and then for team camaraderie, but I wasn't really like out there like that. I was just very chill. Like I would always go home on Sundays, like family dinners and stuff like that. So I'm just a family person, really. That's why ODU felt good to me because it was like the coaches. I was really close with the coaches. It felt like family, like my teammates, like my brothers, and I could just be myself. I didn't have to act any type of way. Everybody kind of understood me.
Talking about bowling, why do I feel like BJ Stiff like bowling?
He might have. I never went bowling with BJ. BJ is pretty good at everything.
Maybe he just looks like he'd be a bowler.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could just see him,
BJ's pretty good at everything. We had like a home run derby one time. I think Nick ended up winning, but BJ hit some nice ones too.
Nick Bibberai or Nick Wright?
Bibberai.
Okay.
Bibberai. We used to me and Ambrose used to play ping pong at the rec sometimes.
Okay. I'm seeing this competition, competitive nature theme.
Yeah. Everything's competition for me. Yeah.
Man, Nick was one of those players that you look back on and you're like, very unassuming player, but the Duke of ball.
Man, me and Nick, we used to kill everybody at the rec center on that red shirt year. We used to just go in there when the team would go on road trips, and we would just play for like 3-4 hours. Everybody thinks someone's not good or whatever based off what you do in a college game. But at the end of the day, Nick can probably still give everybody 25 and 10 at our local gym. You know what I mean? Like Nick's very skilled. Nick was good and serviceable on our team. So it wasn't like, it's just when you get to college, it's like everybody's good, man. It's tough. And it's like you have a role on a team and maybe you're not asked to show everything you can do. It's the same thing when we get to the NBA. Like I remember I would talk to Coach Stiff. Coach Stiff was like, man, I led the ACC in scoring. I'm the all-time leader in scoring at UVA or whatever. And he's like, when I got to the league, they wanted me just to be a defensive player because we had Abdul Rauf or we had Chris Jackson. He's like, man, he's scoring 30 a game. So it's like your role changes as you go to different teams. Everybody on the high school team was amazing. But it's like as you continue to grow up, like it's just like you have to be able to play that role. Like that's just what it is. You know what I mean? Like if I go to the league, they're not asking me to score 20 something a game. They're asking me to run a team, play defense, hit open shots, and give the ball to LeBron. So it's like it's not really. I don't know. Nick was good though. Like it's just what it. All them guys were good.
Yeah, Nick, a great glue guy. Think about like Denzel Taylor and the type of game he had.
Oh man, Denzel was amazing.
Defense,
I was
rebounding, and passing the ball.
Man, Denzel was amazing. I mean, Denzel used to cover for everybody. Like I was looking at some of the game film and like, man, they always had our backs, man. Because like Denzel's taking charges, Denzel's playing guarding the best player, Denzel's doing everything, rebounding, defending. He's hitting Ross on that little slip, and Ross is dunking it on our play where Aaron would run out. So it's like we had these plays, and it's like I could go through each man and just be like, man, like Jordan would always guard the best players, and they just compete, man, at their role, And it's like I don't know how many basketballs Denzel's really shooting in the game, but his impact is felt, And it's like as you go through each team, you have those guys like Aaron Carver, Denzel, Richard Ross, like energy guy, like you know what I mean, John, and a daggone good player too, like real athletic guy. So we've had a lot of great players on our team, man.
And it kind of leads into this question, Aaron.
Go ahead.
Trey, you said you're a student of the game. You love the history of the game. I want to hear your Mount Rushmore of Monarch Hoopers.
Ooh. Oh, all right. Let me think. That's tough. That's really tough because, all right. So first of all, I didn't say anything about Aaron. Aaron Baycoat was probably like one of the most selfless guys on our team too. I was shouting out everybody else on our team because Aaron was the man before I got there, and he was just like a great teammate the whole time, and he did his role. But for the Mount Rushmore, I mean, Dave Twardzik has to be up there for sure. Dave Twardzik, because he won the he played for the ABA, he played for the Virginia Squires, he played with George Gervin, Dr. J. He won in 1977 with Bill Walton and Reese Lucas and all those guys. So he beat Dr. J, and so that's awesome. And the knowledge he gave me, he always taught me a lot. Dave Twardzik up there. The rest of these guys, I don't know because I know like names like Mark West. I wasn't around to really watch them, and at ODU, but I know you had a great NBA career. So probably Mark West, probably up there. But for the guys that I like watching, I would have to be
Trey. There's no one gonna quiz you or grade you on this.
It's your Mount Rushmore.
Your dudes, make
my
it your
Mount
dude.
Rushmore. Yeah, okay, my Mount Rushmore. I would have to put Ben on my list, man. Ben Finney, man, because I feel like he's like he's what we stand for, man. He's a dog, and he was like on those teams that I liked. You know what I mean? And he's like an unsung hero, and it's like every team needs that. And I don't know if he belongs on the all-time Mount, right? Whatever, but this is a guy that whole team, man. I love that whole team. That whole team could be on that thing for me, man. But probably Dave Twardzik, Mark West. don't even know, man. This is a tough one for me, man. I'm trying to think like NBA guys versus I don't know. Who on y'all's list?
Oh, my list or Aaron's list? Aaron, you got your
Let me
list
hear
ready?
y'all's list. Let me hear y'all's list.
We'll go back and forth. We're gonna make a starting five. I don't. I'm gonna put Kent on my list. I'm gonna put Kent on my list because you guys are towards the end of where we expected someone to come in. You often redshirted because you weren't ready or you
Yeah.
need to acclimate to being in college or away from home. And then we were going to get to know someone over the course of 5 years. And you got to really, as Monarch Nation got to know the student athletes very well and vice versa. And Kent was one of those guys that he showed up and he was like a baby deer, like dribble the ball off his leg. Everything was so fast, but you could
Yeah.
see the potential. And then
Mhm.
every summer he had like exponential growth. He got better at something. He added a new tool or two to his tool pack. So I'm gonna put Ken on mine. Obviously, he was exciting because he could jump through the roof, but playing defense is always fun to watch that.
Yeah. I like Kent. Kent used to come to our AU practices. I played with his little brother.
Okay.
For Boo. So Kent was always nice. Kent was always real nice and real cool. Kent. Yeah, that makes sense. I have a hard time like naming like the guys I see on the wall, like the Cal Bowdlers. Like I never got to really watch these guys in college.
Hey, Trey,
I know Odom is amazing.
we're in the same boat, Trey.
Yeah.
Huh?
So my list would be guys that I got to watch. I know
Okay.
there's players that did more, or maybe older fans might feel really upset that I didn't include these players. But I would just say I watched these guys, and these are guys on my list.
Yeah.
So first, Kent, great pick. Gerald Lee, for me, that was the first guy that really made me want to watch ODU hoops.
He was good.
He was so savvy. Not a dude that was going to play up high above the rim, but he knew how to use his body. He had such a great touch, and I studied how to. What he was from Uusipamoki, Finland.
Yeah.
Gerald and then my final two would be 2 point guards in the Jeff Jones era: Trey Freeman, Ahmad Caver.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, Ahmad was really good. Ahmad was good when he came in, man. He was so quick and good player, man. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's a hard question. Y'all put me in the spot like that, man. I guess, yeah, I would say Kent's definitely. I would put Frank in there too, man. I like Frank a lot.
Yep,
Frank's my guy though. I'm biased for sure.
No, I thought of just putting that whole team on there, like Ben, and
that's my favorite. That's my favorite.
It was Darius with his teardrop.
Yeah,
you had
this is a good team.
Yeah,
I like. You know who else I liked a lot? I like Drew Williamson.
Oh, that dude was tough.
Cause I went to ODU camp, man, and Drew treated me like a little brother. I went to like a elite camp. I got invited and I got to meet him, and he was really awesome. He was a good guy, man. And I remember they would say like he set the record, like he had all these assists, no turnovers in the tournament, and he was just a really good person, man. Really good person. I like them, man. They have some good teams. I love those teams, man.
Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite basketball movie?
Above the Rim. Above the Rim with Tupac and Above the Rim, man. He was trying to go to Georgetown, man. I like that. That was awesome.
Great movie. All right.
What y'all got? What's y'all's favorite?
Aaron?
Man, I'm not really sure. It depends. Is it a Sunday where I'm sitting at home flipping channels and then
Coach Carter?
What's that?
Coach Carter?
I do like it.
I like Coach Carter.
It depends on what my mood is. It might be Blue Chips, depending upon
Blue Chips is good.
What mood I'm in.
I'm in the same area as Aaron. If I'm in one mood, it's probably Hoosiers, and if I'm in another mood, it might be Above the Rim, and if I'm in another mood, it might be Blue Chips.
Sunday afternoon, Hoosiers always seems to be playing on one of the crappy channels. It's kind kind of like the Goonies, where it just
And then,
shows
I
up.
mean, Ray
I love
Allen,
him.
Ray Allen and Denzel together.
Oh, he got game. Yeah, he got games top 5 for me right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way that movie was shot is just so like well done. Like
Yeah.
a good
I
movie.
love it. Yeah.
All right. I think we need to close out here. So you're a coach now. You're a player that played at Old Dominion.
Yep.
You understand the transfer portal. What advice would you give to these guys that are maybe coming into Old Dominion next year, or considering either transferring or thinking about their future at Old Dominion?
Yeah, I would just say, man, I understand wanting to get your money or whatever. I feel like being able to leave a legacy for me, that's that was my thing, man. I wanted to wherever I went, I wanted to make the place better than it was when I got there. So sometimes some things, man, the easy choice sometimes isn't the best choice. So you need to really like lock in and work, man. I think if you work, man, the doors will open for you in the long run either way. Sometimes the grass isn't always greener. And even, coming here, wherever you go, you're gonna have to work. Wherever you go, you're not gonna get along with your coach. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter where you go, literally. Like, there might be every coach I've played for, they demand something from you because they want you to be great. So if you're thinking that you're gonna leave somewhere because this coach isn't letting you do something, the next coach probably isn't letting you do something. So it's not, I never looked at transferring as like a running mechanism. Like, I'm not trying to run from work. Like, no, I need to work to make this coach believe in me or respect me or whatever. I don't look at it like that. So when you're contemplating it, I think just knowing what you're signing up for, what are you trying to become, and just going for it. You can't hide from the work, man. The work's going to show. Your work will show, regardless if you're playing at ODU, Norfolk State, William & Mary. It doesn't matter. Did you work this summer? Or did you not work this summer? Because the same problems are going to arise wherever you go, man. You're not boxing out. You're not doing what the coach asks you. It's a behavior thing, man. You got to really lock in and be the best, man. Like, if you're nice, you're not going to have to. What are you transferring for? I mean, other than money, other than that, the rest of it is like, if it's because you don't like how the coach talks to you, then fix your play. Because, like, if you were nice like that, I bet Michael Jordan doesn't have to transfer. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna figure out how to use him. Like, this is what it is. So you just work on your game, man. Everything else will work.
That's a beautiful way to end this.
Yeah,
Trey,
man.
thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
Aaron, we got another goat off the list.
I know, man. Trey, we've wanted to have you on for so long. We're so excited for you to come on, and I know that we're gonna have to have you back eventually and catch up and see, how the coaching stuff's going, or if you end up going to law school or whatever it is, to update Monarch Nation on where you're going in this world, man. Because you're gonna do great things, continue to do great things, and so many people got so much joy for watching you play basketball, and you're way more than just a basketball player. It's very obvious in talking to you tonight, and talking to you at the TED and stuff like that. So thank you very much. You are a very good representation of Old Dominion University, let alone the basketball program.
Man, thanks for having me on. I was really excited to come on. I had a great time. Yeah, y'all have to bring me back, man.
We will, and you'll have to let us know next time you're at basketball practice. We'll have to come out there and let Mike box you, back you down and try to score a layup on you.
Yeah, man, I'll foul him, man. He's not scoring anything on me. Cool, man. Thank you guys, man. That was awesome.
All right, Trey.
Who's next? Who's on the wish list?
Oh man,
Well, Kent has been like number one on our wish list for a minute.
yes.
But
Have y'all reached out?
we have.
Yeah, but he's been busy. But if you want to make that warm intro, we'd be happy.
Can't. Okay.
Yeah, can't. Obviously, we haven't had Taylor on yet. We got to have Taylor Heineke on. We haven't had him yet, but we're hopeful that 2025 is the year.
Man, y'all get them. Y'all will get them.
But thanks so much, and go Monarchs.
Yes, sir.
Go Monarchs.
Go Monarchs.